We will continue reading A New Nation today. In today's story, we're going to listen carefully to find out how the colonists tried to solve the problem caused by the shot heard round the world. News of the shot heard round the world spread throughout the colonies. Once again, the colonists sent representatives to a meeting in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, to discuss what had happened and decide what to do. The representatives of the Second Continental Congress were divided in their feelings about breaking away from Britain and becoming a completely independent nation. But several more small battles in the Massachusetts colony convinced them that they needed an army and someone to serve as a commander. General George Washington seemed to be the perfect choice to lead the army. He had fought to protect the colonies before, and he knew how the British fought. Dressed in his military uniform at the Continental Congress, he was respected by everyone and was easily elected as the commander-in-chief of the Continental Army. Washington set off to join troops from across the colonies in Massachusetts, ready to meet the British in battle. Meanwhile, the Continental Congress continued to meet in Philadelphia. Among the representatives was a man named Benjamin Franklin. Franklin, who was born in the colony of Massachusetts and then moved to the colony of Pennsylvania, had actually moved to London, England for a few years. He had gone there to speak out in Parliament against the unfair taxing of the American colonies and the fact that the Americans had no say in Parliament. Benjamin Franklin was very good at arguing, and he was able to get the British to remove some of their taxes on the colonies. Benjamin Franklin had many British friends in London, but after the Boston Tea Party, an angry British Parliament began to distrust and dislike him. And so, in 1775, Franklin decided that it was time to return home, arriving in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, just in time for the second meeting of the Continental Congress. The other representatives were delighted to have someone there who had spent so much time on the other side of the ocean. He could help them decide what to do. The Continental Congress decided it was time to announce to Parliament and to the British King that the colonies no longer wanted to be a part of Great Britain. They wanted to declare themselves a free and independent nation. An official declaration would have to be written so that Parliament and the King would take them seriously. Who would write this important Declaration of Independence? The members of the Continental Congress considered many different people. Among those mentioned for the job was Thomas Jefferson, a 32-year-old representative from Virginia and one of the youngest men there. Jefferson had not been able to attend the first Continental Congress, but the representatives were all familiar with his powerful writing. Jefferson was elected to be its author. Thomas Jefferson went back to the rooms he was renting in Philadelphia, got out some paper, and scratched his head. He dipped his pen in ink and started writing. Sometimes he stopped and crossed out some words, and then went on. He knew a lot of important people were going to read this, so he had to make it good. Every morning for 17 days, he got up at dawn and got to work, writing and rewriting to make sure it was his best work. The Continental Congress liked Thomas Jefferson's work. Benjamin Franklin, among others, changed a word or two here and there, but most of the words remained those of young Jefferson. On July 4th, 1776, the Declaration of Independence was approved by a vote of the Continental Congress. It was sent to a printing shop that very night. Riders headed out across the countryside with copies. In town squares all over the colonies, people gathered to hear Thomas Jefferson's words read aloud. One part is still read again and again today. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Those words meant that nobody is born any better than anyone else, and that all people all over the world have equal rights. We still celebrate this important event every 4th of July, and you could call it the birthday of the United States. They've now declared themselves to be independent, but is Britain going to agree? Wait and see.